Amy Rose saves Sonic in Sonic 3 post-credits scene. Stick around to see how it all unfolds in the Sonic 3 post-credits. Shadow the Hedgehog is locked up in a secret lab near Tokyo. One day, alarms go off, and the scientists realize someone is hacking their systems. Shadow's containment starts breaking down, and soldiers rush in to stop him, but Shadow easily escapes, defeating them one by one. Once free, he goes to the city and realizes he's been trapped for 50 years. Meanwhile, Sonic is camping with his friends, Tails and Knuckles. They decide to race to see who's the fastest. To Sonic's surprise, Tails and Knuckles beat him to the finish line. When Sonic goes to congratulate them, he realizes they're just holograms. Worried, he runs back to camp and finds his real friends, Tom, Maddie, Tails, and Knuckles, throwing him a surprise birthday party to celebrate the year he came to Earth. After the party, Sonic talks with Tom and thanks him for the surprise. Sonic finds his old cave where he used to live and remembers Longclaw, the owl who raised him. That night, a helicopter arrives, and Director Rockwell from Gun tells Sonic and his friends about a big problem in Tokyo. Shadow has escaped and is causing destruction. Sonic and his team agree to help and parachute into the ruined city. There, they meet Shadow, who warns them to stay away. Knuckles rushes at Shadow but is quickly defeated. Even when they all work together, Shadow is too strong. Sonic chases Shadow through the city, and their fight causes a blackout. Tails and Knuckles find Sonic chained up with indestructible handcuffs. They regroup at a cafe with Commander Walters, who explains that Shadow's powers come from chaos energy, and that he was frozen 50 years ago after an explosion. Suddenly, egg-shaped drones attack the cafe. A masked hero saves them and leads them to safety. The hero turns out to be Agent Stone, one of Dr. Eggman's assistants. Stone takes them to Eggman, who reveals that someone else is using his technology to cause trouble. Eggman agrees to help Sonic if Sonic gives him a strand of his hair. Meanwhile, Shadow goes to a destroyed lab and remembers Maria, a girl who was like family to him. Eggman tracks the troublemaker to an abandoned military base where they discover it's Professor Gerald Robotnik, Eggman's grandfather. Gerald has stolen a key from Sonic and plans to use the Eclipse Cannon, a powerful weapon that can destroy Earth. Sonic and his friends try to stop him, but are trapped in a room with a mini black hole. They escape using one of Tails' teleportation rings and plan to infiltrate Gun headquarters in London. Tom and Maddie pretend to be Gun officers to sneak inside. They discover someone is controlling the system, likely Eggman. Sonic rushes in impatiently, ignoring the dangers, and almost gets trapped, but Tails saves him. Inside the vault, they're caught by Gun soldiers, including Director Rockwell. Sonic signals Knuckles, who breaks into the building and smashes the controls, causing chaos. Sonic escapes and destroys the device controlling the room. Shadow and Gerald continue their plan. Shadow starts to doubt Gerald's intentions, but Gerald reminds him of Maria's death and pushes him to power the Eclipse Cannon. Sonic convinces Shadow to help stop Gerald instead. Together, they fight off Gerald's robot army. Time is running out, and Sonic and Shadow use their powers to block the cannon from firing. Sonic uses up all his energy and faints, falling back to Earth. Tails catches him, but they both lose consciousness. Knuckles uses a teleportation ring to save them. Eggman realizes the reactor core is going to explode and create a radioactive cloud that could destroy Earth. Shadow convinces Eggman to help him push the core away from the planet. Shadow and Eggman sacrifice themselves to save Earth. Sonic apologizes to his friends for being reckless, and they all go back to camping and finish their interrupted race. In the end credit scene, after Sonic wins the race, he wanders off alone into the forest. Suddenly, Metal Sonic appears and attacks him. Sonic dodges and tries to fight back, but is quickly cornered. Just as Metal Sonic is about to strike, a hammer smashes into him, sending him flying. Sonic looks up to see Amy Rose standing there with her Pico Pico hammer. Amy confidently introduces herself and tells Sonic, "Looks like you could use some help." Sonic is surprised but grateful as Amy helps drive Metal Sonic away. Meanwhile, in the ruins of the destroyed Eclipse Cannon, Shadow emerges from the wreckage, alive. He picks up his final Chaos Ring. This hints that Shadow's story is far from over, setting up the next big adventure for Sonic and his friends.
I really liked the Sonic movies, especially the second one. It had so many cool references and was clearly made for fans. I'm super excited for the third movie, which is based on the Sonic Adventure 2 story. I also liked how they included humans in the story without making it weird. The changes they made to simplify the story worked really well. There were lots of fun moments in the movie. The opening scene with Shadow was awesome, especially seeing his cool powers. Adding characters like Knuckles and Tails was great too, even though some parts with them felt rushed. I'll explain more about that later. But it's clear the movie is for younger viewers, and sometimes that shows in ways Sonic fans might not like. For example, near the end of the movie, there's a fight with two Robotniks. Instead of looking like they usually do, they're shown as weird bug-like creatures with mantis arms, scorpion tails, and bug wings. It felt really out of place. Another strange part was when Robotnik beats his grandfather by sticking a supersonic quill up his grandfather's butt, and then there's a fart sound. I thought this joke was totally unnecessary and ruined the moment. Also, the grandfather's death wasn't very emotional or memorable. Adding a fart joke to such an important scene was a bad idea. It didn't stop there. Later in the movie, things got even more confusing. Robotnik is suddenly a good guy, and Knuckles and Tails somehow know this without anyone explaining it. Then there's the part about the space colony Ark, which is now just a machine aimed at Earth. I was hoping for something closer to the game's story, but the ending felt disappointing. It had Eggman peeing on the moon, which was a strange nod to an internet meme. I didn't like that choice at all. Still, there were a lot of things I enjoyed. The movie had tons of fun references and nods to the games, but they missed some big chances, like not including the City Escape song or having Shadow say his famous line, "Chaos Control." Some parts of the story were also confusing, like how Shadow somehow knows the general caused the explosion that hurt Maria. The movie trailers also spoiled too much. The Paramount marketing team revealed big moments, even the ending, in the trailers. That took away some of the excitement for me. It also didn't make sense when characters in the movie instantly knew things that the audience knew. That felt unrealistic. Even with these issues, I liked how they told the end of Shadow's story. Eggman's final sacrifice and redemption were really touching and well done. The post-credit scene was another highlight. It teased a future story with Metal Sonic, which I'm really looking forward to. Overall, I think this movie is a great gift for Sonic fans. It's made for kids, so some parts might not work for everyone, but it's still a fun and heartfelt movie. Compared to Disney's live-action remakes, this really stands out. I hope the movie does well, and I'd love to know what you think. Did it meet your expectations as a Sonic fan?